My name is Robert Chapman, and this is the Clinton Board of Aldermen recap from January the 7th, 2025, our first meeting of the calendar year. As usual, we opened the meeting with a report from one of our department heads. This meeting, we heard from Philip Lilly, our Director of Public Works. He said his crews are prepped and ready to follow their protocols for any extreme weather temperatures, putting out an initial layer of misolite, which is a clay substance that assists in increasing traction between the road and car tires. Once this initial layer is distributed, they monitor the roads and they add it to where it's needed. He bragged on Lucy Ewing for installing 68 dimmer switches on the bollard lights over there on Arrow Drive, successfully bringing the amount of light down to an acceptable level. It's always good to have a tangible example of a city listening to the concerns of its citizens, and this was much needed, and I, for one, am very thankful for Miss Lucy's efforts. Philip continued with words of praise by mentioning the new street striper the city has purchased and projects that they've completed, particularly at the intersections of the Parkway, Cynthia, and Fairmont. He also said to keep an eye out for wildflower blossoms on the exit ramp near the south side of the 220 bridge, and to thank Donna Yowell for her help at making this happen. He shut off the new street sweeper we have, but did point out that the purpose of the street sweeper is to clean the drainage areas of trash and debris and not to pick up leaves. Residents are still encouraged to bag your leaves, or if you can always mulch them and let nature do its thing. Public Works will soon embark on their continued I&I campaign, where they will enact smoke tests that will show where gaps are present. Philip took his time to again remind the citizens that grease does not go down the drain. It will certainly clog up the pipes, causing major issues for everyone involved. The household hazardous waste collection was a success. They collected dozens of tons of items that just don't need to show up in a landfill. He closed out saying that from August to date, his department is sporting a 96% closeout rate on work orders. You know, a 96 was an A back in the day when A's were still 95 to 100, so there's no arguing against this one. Jumping into the voting, we approved an agreement with Hinds County Circuit Clerk Zach Wallace to provide election support for the upcoming elections. Since the districts have been redrawn, you may be wondering if your ward has changed and where you vote. Heck, you may be saying, I don't know what ward I'm in currently. No worries, the city will be sending you out a mailer letting you know what ward you're in and where your municipal voting location is located. The municipal voting location might be different and isn't necessarily the same as where your county or your state polling location is, so keep a heads up on that and an eye out for the mailer that will be coming your way. We approved a motion to continue securing right-of-way properties for the Clinton Raymond Bolton Water Association, or the CRBWA. You've got to say it at least 75 times to get it secured into memory, and I'm almost there. Next, Police Chief Fort Heyman requested that we accept a donation of tasers and drones from Birdsong Construction. Tip of the cap to Jeff Cox on that one, as well as the donation of the 9 Stalker radar units from the Natchez Trace Rangers. He said these units run north of $3,000 each, so that's an impressive addition to our traffic fleet at no cost to the city. Fire Chief Jeff Blackledge asked for us to approve an LED light changeout. This will eliminate the old style lights from inside the fire stations, and it will replace them with new LED ones, saving the city almost $6,000 a year. Not bad there if I say so myself. I mentioned our wastewater expansion project earlier, and Greg Gerhardt with WGK said the proposed 12-year project is starting to see some fruition and installations. The easement acquisitions are moving along for this massive undertaking, and pipes will soon start to be placed into the ground. So soon, in fact, that we're ready to start advertising bids for the project starting in February. The completion date is still slated for around 2030, so we're 5 years out. We approved a block grant application with CMPDD for the CDBG Improvement Grant. And we approved the progression of RFQs for engineering services for the 2025 block grant. It's one of those, let's do this so we're ready to act kind of things. We approved 2-dimensional variances, one for Murphy Oil. They're going to level and rebuild the gas station in front of Walmart on Highway 80, and a second one for Kids First Level Center on Spring Ridge Road. We approved a site plan for Amos Lawn. They'll be relocating to a larger area in the industrial park off West Northside Drive. I like when bigger spaces are needed for businesses. This shows growth, and growth in this city is a good thing. We approved the preliminary plat for the Old Town Village, a neighborhood and a development that will be developed off the parkway. This was the property that previously requested a zoning change to mixed use. The mixed use proposal would have required shared green spaces and would have matched the way that the parkway has grown. But since that request was denied in December, the current zoning of R1 or residential allows the developer to continue with their plans for a neighborhood. There has been some debate on how this property should be zoned, yes. But two things we've all agreed on when it comes to this development is that the drainage issue needs to be addressed, as does the proposed entrance that would link it to Kentwood neighborhood via Cedar Hill Drive, which is currently a dead end. As a board, we've all agreed that these two issues are the ones that we need to pay attention to, and those concerns were voiced during the meeting. The natural progression of a development like this will allow for further discussions, and we voted to pass the preliminary plat and make sure to keep a dog-eared notation on the two issues that I just mentioned. We closed out the voting portion of the night by approving an agreement to move forward with updating our comprehensive plan through CMPDD. The last time this was updated was in 2018, so now is the time to act on it. We hired 4 new firefighters and 1 new maintenance tech with Public Works. Just around the corner is the new and improved Red Brick Road's Music and Arts Festival. If you've been to the festival in the past, you may remember that it was in the dead heat of the August sun. They've moved it to March, which will have a spring feel, which I am sure is highly welcomed. If by chance you haven't heard, I put my name in to fill the Aldermen at Large seat, and I humbly ask for your support and your vote. You've heard me say many times that decisions are made by those who show up, and I highly believe that presence matters. I think together we could continue building Clinton into a city we're not only proud of today, but one that our children will be proud of to inherit in the future. If you see me out and about, please stop and say hello. Keep taking care of each other. Look out for your neighbor. And as always, I appreciate your time. Happy New Year.